Hello, everybody, and welcome to another session of Pastor Doug's virtual VIP midweek Bible study. As you can see, I'm with my ministry partner, Pastor Tall Doug, and we're excited to be with you again. We're continuing in our series that we're developing on living the faith life and all the different components of your life and how God addresses them. And it's pretty simple. I mean, I think a lot of people, when we talk about religion and their relationship with God, you kind of think about heaven, which is kind of a big deal and really important, and all of that. And we think about Christmas and Easter and
Mhm.
the different celebrations of events. Then there's communion and it's the role that it plays and everything. But I don't think there's a lot of thought, maybe, and maybe there should be. Maybe this is where the problem is, a lot of thought about the day to day life that we live and all the different dimensions of that. If you think about it, you have relationships, you have financial issues, you have work issues, you have your health, the social things, recreation, rest. All of these things come into play, and they are a part of your life. In fact, probably if you think about the percentage of time where you take away Sundays and you take away Easter, Christmas, and on the holidays and things like that, most of your time you're spent in that mode of living life. And the concept behind this living the faith life is that you live that Christian life as God had designed you to live all the time, not just on Sunday mornings.
Right. And life is so busy. We've done it to ourselves. We try to do so much. We want to be all things to our family, to our friends, to everyone we know. And a lot of us don't know how to say no. Okay, I'll squeeze that in. Sure, do that. Before you know it, you're overloaded,
Mhm.
and then everything suffers, and then you're just stressed out all the time.
I was in this session one time and they were trying to teach pastors and everything how to create and build small groups within your church, which are groups that meet other than Sunday morning. And one of the concepts they said is, look, as you're teaching people, they need to realize that you can't add this on where you're saying, okay, now on Wednesday nights at 6, I'm going to come to Pastor Doug's class. And what the concept was is you need to teach folks that you need to replace that with something else. So, hey, if I'm going to Pastor Doug's class on Wednesday night, then I'm not going to be able to go exercise on Wednesdays like I normally do because I'm going to that class rather than saying I'm going to go to the class, then exercise later. So you're adding stress to your issues. And that's kind of the topic that last Sunday was about stress. It's the biggest problem that we face. And I want to tell you, I face it. Pastor Tall Doug faces it.
Mhm.
Everybody faces it. And so here's the question: how are you going to handle it? Because everybody's going to have it. So how do you handle it? We all know people who fly off the deep end. We all know people who panic. We also know people who don't even care and don't even pay attention to anything. And that's not good either. So, where is the balance? How do we find a balance? So, as Christians, as believers, when we're looking for balance, where do we go to find out the answers?
Well, we should go as Christians. We should always turn to God and God's Word. We spend our lives trying to figure out how to do this and how to do that. And we do okay. We think we have some successes, but we don't typically make our first move to God's Word. And He's a lot smarter than we are. He's designed it, He knows how He wants it to go. And we just have to get on that right path. And often we just think, okay, well, this used to work for me, or I did this in the past, or someone else tried this, so I'll try that. And it just doesn't work.
We go through this process where we have like a panic button or a default button or whatever. And I'm not sure in the airlines if you guys had something you're flying and some of the numbers aren't right, does something start flashing or bells go off? Hey, there's a problem.
Sure, sure. As a matter of fact, I think probably every plane I ever flew, there's two criteria, two levels. So there's a yellow light, a master warning light, excuse me, master caution light is yellow.
Mhm.
So there's a whole category of things like, okay, well, that's not right, but it's not
So if
an
that yellow
emergency.
light goes off, you know it could be one of these certain things.
It's a whole list of things. And then we look for, okay, there it is, and we'll work on that.
Could there be another light flashing in an area?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
The yellow caution light is in front of me. and that'll alert me that something else is going wrong. The next criteria is a red warning light that'll flash. That's more serious. Those are for bigger problems. That'll alert me to, oh, there's that problem. That's a bigger problem,
Like what? Like a red light would be like what?
like an engine's on fire,
Okay.
like your pressurization system is not doing its job and you're going to have to descend or there won't be enough air to breathe. So serious problems, potentially life-threatening problems.
Mhm. So you have the yellow, which is, hey, you better take a look at this. Red says something's happening if you don't fix something soon.
Sure.
Right.
And it's as simple as a traffic light. Green, everything's good to go. Yellow is caution, so check things out, slow down maybe. Red, you better stop. There's a problem. Fix this problem now or it's going to get worse.
You have that built into your life. It's built into your psyche. This is just kind of how we work. Now, some of the problems that we develop, and this is a learned development, is we'll live our life under the caution light. Something's going to go wrong. I don't know what it is. It's not like in the plane where something is happening and you need to find where the one is happening that isn't right to address it. We just kind of live that way. Like, what if this happens? I'm living the life like, what if this engine catches on fire? And I'm going to be watching which one. And you follow what I'm saying. That's kind of how we do. And what does that do to your stress level? It raises your stress level. I want you to listen very closely. Doug's going to read the 23rd Psalm. This is the verse that God has given, the scriptures that God has given us to talk about these. And I want you to listen. For me, every time I hear this, it's peaceful. It's comforting. And listen to the words as they're written. This is a message from God for you today. And you probably have yellow lights flashing all over your life and maybe even some red ones. Listen to this.
The Lord is my shepherd, so I have all I need. He makes me lie down in lush green meadows, and he leads me beside calm, quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the right paths for his sake, for his name's sake, excuse me. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and you anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Listen to these action words. This is what I want you to really get out of this. The statement is, the Lord is my shepherd. So he is. It's not, will he be? Could he be? He is. And then it says this. Now listen, guys, here's the thing with scripture. This is the thing that always bugs me, because you'll talk to people and debate with people, even so-called Christian people, that say they don't believe certain parts of the Bible. That's just not true. Either it's all true or none of it is true. I believe it's all true. Listen to this statement. So I have all I need. I have. Right now, you're listening. You have all you need. Maybe not all you want, or you desire, or you'd prefer. God is telling you you have all you need. He makes me lie down. He's telling me to rest. All right? He leads me. He leads me beside the calm, quiet waters. Listen to those words. Calm, quiet waters. Doesn't that sound cool? He restores my soul. So he leads me. He restores me. He guides me in the night paths for his name's sake. And so even though I walk through the shadow, these valleys, these dark times, even though I walk through these, I will fear no evil. Why would I not fear? Because he's with me. He says this. Then he says, his rod and his staff, they comfort me. That sign, that symbol, it comforts me. It's comforting to know the Creator cares for me. Then he says, you prepare a table before me in the presence. So he's preparing me in the presence of people who don't like me. And he anoints my head with these. So he's blessing me. He's giving me his personal blessing. And my cup overflows. What does it mean for your cup to overflow? You're joyous. You're happy. It's pleasing. And his goodness and mercy follows you for the rest of your life. What a promise. And so, as the stresses of life mount, and they do, as the pressures rise, and they will, we are told and called to go to this scripture or this type of scripture, and you gain peace there. Have you ever done that, Doug? Have you ever had the pressures of life be building on you and you need some answers, you need some peace of mind, and you found that solution in God's word?
I have. I can't tell you the exact quote, which scripture, but many apply. And what I have found, I went through most of my life, most of my adult life, doing things my way and relying on myself and my abilities. Oh, I can figure this out. And it's only recent, in the last handful of years, where I will turn to God. And there is a sense of peace and calm that just comes over you like, okay, well, this is difficult. This is stressful, but it's not going to kill me. It's not the end of the world. And I've got God with me, so I'll get through this. And as far as getting through, the one part of the well, every word of the 23rd Psalm is very well said, perfectly said. But the one line that really stands out for me is, even though I walk through the shadow of death, you're not staying there. You're walking through it. And as you go through that, as you go through life and the challenges and the stress and struggles, God is with you. He's guiding you. He's leading you. So there's nothing to worry about. So there's still stress, but you have to just accept that, deal with it, and realize that He's there and He'll take care of you.
You know, for the vast number of people that are watching this today and going to be watching it later on today, I can guarantee you and promise you that there's folks that need to know that and need to hear that. God is with you. Right now in this moment, you may not feel it. You may feel lonesome. You may feel abandoned. You maybe have had a loved one who just, eventually just succumbed to the diseases of this world. And now you're alone. Maybe they're in heaven. You got that peace of knowing, and I can get that. I can understand that as my family, and I lost my mom and dad and everything. The most recent was my mom. There's no question in my mind at all whether she made it to heaven. I know she did. And I know she's peaceful. And I know she's not in any more pain. And she has a new body. And I can guarantee you she's singing away up there because that's what she did. And she played the organ in church. She was a remarkable person. And I miss her, but I'm not suffering for her because I know where she is. And if you've lost that loved one, this is kind of what God, I think, wants you to know, that He's there for you and He's provided those places. And maybe it's a case where you're not sure whether they made it to heaven or not. I want you to rest in the comfort of knowing that God is a loving God. He wants you in heaven. He's desiring to He wants you there so badly that He gave up His own Son so you could make it just by believing in Him. I tried to do that this Sunday, bringing my son Douglas up there to kind of represent exactly what God has actually been doing. And I had some people come to me later and say, that really hit me hard, seeing an actual face and a person and what God did and the impact of what God can actually do. And I just want to tell you, as your pastor and as pastors here that love you, don't miss out on the love of God. Yeah, you've probably got your salvation, you've got your home in heaven's kind of locked up and you've accepted Jesus. I get that. That's so important. That's the most important part. But there's also the privilege of being a child of God. There's also that right of living as a best friend to the Savior of the world. And if you're missing that value, and I did for a long time in my life, I really did. I didn't get it. I didn't tie it together the way I think God intended it to be tied. But you can, and you can live in that and have that freedom of having God live with you. And then this is what I do, is I defer to Him. Lord, I don't know exactly what I should do here. I think this is what you're leading me to do, and this is how I believe it would be your response to this world and this issue. And so I'm going to trust you. And so what I just did is I took the pressure off of these shoulders and I placed it on God because I'm going to rest in Him. I'm going to trust in Him. And Pastor Jim even said this morning in our pastor time prayers, be still and know that I'm God. And my wife Robin says that to me a lot. Be still and know that I am God. And there's such peace there. There's such peace there. You ever use that? Be still, know that I'm God?
I do. And something on a personal level, some time ago, Melissa and I, instead of doing our nighttime prayers individually, we started praying out loud together. And I tell you, that really has moved things to a different level. And the intimacy and the peace and comfort that we give each other that way can only come from God.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that, buddy. That's very, very cool. Guys, listen, there's absolutely no question that we love you. The Faith Church loves you, and we want to help you and we want to guide you. This coming week, I'm going to be talking about your emotional health and what God says about that, and some tips on how to move past some of the things that are slowing us down and giving us trouble during our lives. We love you. Hope to see you Sunday at 10 o'clock, and we get into this. We're going to have some good music for you. Promise you. It might be a little loud. I promise you that too. But I want you to know that we love you and hope to see you Sunday. God bless you and have a great week.